Welcome, everybody, to another edition of the Inside the Burrow podcast brought to you by FUOwsNest.com. Today's going to be a little different due to some scheduling conflicts, so I'll be handling hosting duties for today. And in case you've noticed, today's a very special episode, as the spotlight will be entirely on baseball. And for our special guest, we have here John Kaplan from USF's Bruin at McEwen. John, happy to have you on. How are you doing?
Happy to be here. Thanks for having me. I'm doing all right. How are you, Richard?
Yeah, doing great myself. So, got a pretty big weekend coming up with FAU going on the road to Tampa to face the USF Bulls. Both teams have identical records. FAU at 20-18, then USF at 21-19. Identical records in conference play in the American at 7-8. It's been quite a lot of ups and downs from both teams, and for USF, they have lost 4 straight in this past weekend. So, John, what have you seen from USF so far this season that you really liked, and some things that you really need to see, that you really want to see them improve as the season winds down?
That's a good question. I would say that overall, our offense has been producing at a fairly high rate. We're top 3 in the conference in OPS. We're being patient at the plate. We're enduring injuries, and it's been the next man up mentality. We've seen a lot of key performances from younger players stepping up and growing into their role. But we can get more into the specifics as we get into the show. But from a pitching standpoint, we've seen a lot of inconsistencies in our starting rotation. The talent is there, and the heart is there for sure. But we have definitely struggled with some walks. We've struggled with keeping runs off the board, struggled avoiding those big innings, have been really killer. And I'm finding that most of those big innings are coming out of the bullpen. The injury bug has hit us so hard this year, and like nothing I've ever seen. We had Coach Mole on Bruin, or on third top of the order, last week, and he even mentioned it. He's never even seen an injury bug like this, when it's kind of like trying to patch up 5 holes with 3 patches. Wherever you get the seal in one area, another leak appears.
Yeah, definitely. And I see a couple of similarities with how the FEU has struggled in some of their games, especially when you look at that they've sustained injuries as well, especially in the fielding. Lost a starting first baseman early in the season and had to make up for that by starting Emilio Gonzalez, who was projected as the starting designated hitter. They moved him to first base, and they've been managing injuries throughout the season. Jalen DeBose, he went down for a bit against Charlotte in the conference opener due to injury, but has since returned, and he's looked pretty good. So when it comes to USF, I see a lot of similarities between the two, and despite that, they have some pretty bright spots. So you got a couple of batters hitting over 300, and a few guys hitting 6 or more. Actually, 4 guys hitting 6 or more home runs. What has impressed you about USF's hitting and bullpen throughout the course of the season?
I would like to say that we are playing less hero ball, and we're doing the smaller things right. You can tell that we're focusing on doing the little things right to get the big picture to look the best, right? So we're being really aggressive on the base pass, which you live and die by the sword, but it has paid dividend for us. We're seeing a lot of pitches. We're very patient at the plate. I think we lead the conference in walks, and you're seeing contributions from all over the place. You've got John Montez at the top of the group. He was a UCF transfer last year. Ben Rosenblum is on a tear right now. He's white hot, along with the usual names of Drew Brutcher and Jackson Mayo. those four have really been at the forefront, along with Matt Rose. He's a freshman for us. He started the season a little bit slow, but he is really coming on, and he's been getting a lot. He's been doing great with runners in scoring position. We're seeing we recently lost, or we recently got Rafael Betancourt back in the lineup. Recently got Bobby Bozer back in the lineup. So the healthier that those guys get, the more firepower our offense is going to have. Betancourt's hitting 304 this season. Bobby Bozer's batting average is not indicative to the talent that kid has. He's the most electric ball player on the field, in my opinion. He can play dang near every position as well. Drew, we're not seeing as much of a power streak from him that we're used to seeing, because he's close to top 5 in USF history for all-time home runs. But I actually really like what I'm seeing from him. He's slugging at a rate of 497 with a batting average of 313, while he's only got 3 home runs on the year. I think he had that within the first 2 weeks last year. But we're seeing contributions from up and down the lineup, and like you said, the injuries, we lost our star shortstop to Eric Snow to injury. We lost Bobby Bozer to injury. So while that's provided opportunity for other players to step up, like your Matt Roses, like your Stuart Puckett, it messes with the congruency, and also can affect performance, either leading up to the injury or directly coming back from that injury. So we've got 8 or 9 names that are capable of reaping havoc. It's just a matter of putting it all together at the same time. And to comment on the pitching, that's something that I heavily focus on within Bruin. There's 4 of us. I would say that we've got 4 capable starters, which I don't remember the last time that I've been able to say that. But we've been able to avoid the injury bug in our starting rotation. But there's been a lot of inconsistency amongst the starting rotation. I think you guys post at least 2 pitchers with a sub-3 ERA in your starting rotation, and we can't say that. You've got a 4-headed monster that you guys could see this weekend in Lawson Gailey, Hunter Mink, Jack Siebert, and Don Madonna in no specific order. Lawson Gailey is currently leading that group with a 4.94 ERA. So, that tells you that our starting rotation has left a lot on the table. But if there's anybody that's going to be gunning for these boys, it's me. I think that you're going to see our backs are against the wall, right? We've lost 6 of 7, and with those losses all coming in conference, it's been rough, and it's been. I think that when you have your back against the wall, you can either lay down and fold, or you can nut up and step up to the table, and I think that there's still a long season left, and I think that you can throw tape away from USF. I think you're going to see a different mentality moving forward. I think it's going to be living for today, one game at a time, kind of a tournament mentality. Worry about winning Friday, and we'll worry about Saturday and Sunday next, because if you're not winning early in the week, what does Sunday matter, But I'm really excited to see how the guys can respond against a really good opponent. Your guys' pitching. I've been paying attention to y'all stats, because y'all have always perennially have had like a really good program, and I noticed your team ERA has dropped like almost, I think, 1.5 points in the past couple weeks. So it's really evident that you guys are throwing the ball well. You're not giving away free passes, and you're not giving up the long ball. And it's gonna be a challenge on both sides of the ball for us. But I know it's a challenge that we're ready for, and it's something that I look forward to.
Yeah, very great insight there, John. But yeah, definitely when it comes to the FU bullpen, CJ Williams, he's the ace of that team. Like last weekend, uh, last weekend he conceded no runs against Tulane. He played a complete game, his first ever as an FU Owl. So, and that led to him winning Pitcher of the Week from the conference. So, he's definitely a pitcher that USF has to be very careful about. And speaking of this upcoming series for FU and USF this weekend, this could be a pivotal series for them. They have a 7-8 record in conference play. They're in the middle of the pack of the conference standings as we speak. FU at 5th and USF at 6th. And you see East Carolina, UTSA dominating the league with an 11-4 records equally. And then you see Charlotte at 8-7 and Tulane at 7-8. You got a 4-way tie with 4 teams at 7-8. What are you looking to see out of USF when they take on the Owls for this upcoming weekend?
An advantage of this homestand a little bit more because we're smack dab in the middle of an 8-game homestand, and we let Rice come in and just dismantle us. We stole one from Tulane late in the game. I believe it went into extras, and we're just it's been kind of frustrating because a week prior to that we sweep Wichita State, who is first in the conference at that time, and we're flying high, you know. But when you see that kind of regression, it's, as a fan, you remain hopeful that, you know, with every downfall comes an uprising. But it's been confusing, you know, because it's just been perplexing because with guys like Hunter Mink, Jack Siebert, you know, those are 2 quality arms, you know, and I think that you're going to see a good outing from both of them this weekend. They're both have great baseball IQs, huge hearts, and even more talent to boast. But the road ahead is definitely going to be challenging. You know, we've got FAU who's on the rise in terms of overall conference standings. And then we go on the road to ECU and UTSA, the 2 teams leading the conference, you know. So our backs are against the wall, and we've got a huge challenge in front of us. So I want to see us limit free passes. The walks have hurt us a great deal. To add some perspective there, we have 181 walks given up on the season, and I do not believe that is to include hit by pitches, where you guys have only walked 163. That's, I mean, 18 free passes can mean the difference in 10 wins or losses, you know, easily. You know, I think that the bad and the good of baseball can be contagious, you know. So when you give up a free pass, you give up a single, and that leads to a big inning, you know, we really just have to focus on one game at a time, you know, limiting free passes, doing the small things right, seeing pitches, and not playing hero ball. We got to stay united as a team, which I think that we will do, because if there's one thing this team does not lack, it's camaraderie and heart, you know. The bulk of these guys have been playing together now for 2 to 3 years, and there's some great core leadership and a lot of great younger names that are providing sparks at different times in different areas of the game. I really want to see us continue to excel at the plate. You know, offensively, we've been top 3 in the conference all year in several different categories. If we can continue to put runs on the board, limit free passes, we're going to give you guys a run this weekend. And I think that you guys will be surprised with the showing that we're going to bring, because having lost 6 of 7, you know, but we are 15-10 at home this year. So we know how to protect the house a little bit, not as evidenced by this sweep that we just gave up to last place Rice. But I think that this not having a midweek game this week will allow us to get back to the essentials and have a week off just for practice and for game planning and get the morale right. And yeah, it's definitely. I'd be lying to say I'm not a little bit nervous for the stretch ahead for sure because only the top 8, as you know, get into the conference tournament. And with it being so close, um, they're knotted up there from the middle down, and some of the teams behind us have the edge with the head-to-head matchup. So we're playing for keeps. We're going to leave it all out. I hope we can just leave it all out on the field and show the conference what we're really made of, because I do not feel as though over the last 2 weeks we've done that.
Yeah, for sure, John. This series is definitely going to be pretty nerve wracking, especially with the what's going on in the conference standings, especially with the aforementioned four-way tie. Uh, with that involves FAU and USF, so it's going to be very big for them to come out of this series with a win, with the series win. One last question about the series: which players are you looking to see make a huge impact in the series against FAU, and which players are you wanting that USF to be very careful about throughout the weekend?
Are you saying be careful about on your roster or ours?
FAU's roster.
So I went on a little bit about the offense. I think that you're every week in and week out, you're going to see great performances out of John Montez, Ben Rosenblum, Drew Brutcher, Jackson Mayo, and Matt Rose has been a key cog for us. They're all hitting over 300. But I really think that you guys need to be wary of our rotation. I've got a lot of confidence in Hunter Mink. He's going to be more than likely going to be our Friday night guy. He's got 55 and a third innings pitched this year with 61 strikeouts and 20 walks. Jack Siebert also with an ERA that doesn't define his story. We call Tampa Siebert City on Saturdays, and kid gets fired up and he can really gun with the best of them. Both of them are going to be sitting low to mid, and they've got control of 3 to 4 pitches. And our Sunday starter, is either going to be Don Madonna or Lawson Gailey. I would like to see Don Madonna get the nod because I think his arsenal from a starting pitching rotation is a little bit more lethal, and Lawson Gailey will be able to add some much needed depth and stability to the mid to back end of our bullpen. But speaking of our bullpen, we've got Joey Vellini and Kyle Scrape from the left-handed side that are Kyle Scrape was out with injury earlier, but prior to going down, he easily looked like our best bullpen arm. So we're going to see him get back to a little bit. Joey Vellini's leading the team with a 2.81 ERA, has been absolutely crucial in his appearances for us out of the pen. And I think the biggest name you got to watch out for from a pitching standpoint would be Chandler Dorsey. He is our closer, and he sits mid to high 90s. He's got a great breaking ball, keeps batters on their heels, but blows them away with his fastball. And I would like to see Riley Skeen get back on track a little bit because his last few appearances haven't been great. But before that, he was at the top of our pitching staff in ERA, and I think he had like a 7-game stretch where he didn't allow an earned run. So, like I said, like the talent is there. It just seems like we can't really put it all together at the same time. I know that Billy Moe is busting his tail, getting these guys ready, but it's about execution, and coaching staff can't execute. So the players have to realize what they're playing for and really step up to the occasion, because starting this weekend, it's big boy ball, and we're going to be seeing probably the best pitching we've seen outside of Rice all season. And I would say that I haven't paid attention to, this specific players on your staff too much, but you could even make an argument that with the recent uprising for your staff, that FAU is going to bring a better pitching rotation and staff to the Red this weekend. But from a quick glance, I know that Christian Adams is a name we're going to have to worry about. And John Schroeder, both of them are leading the staff with 6 and 7 home runs respectively. They're slugging near 500, and their batting average is hanging out right around 300. I think that the statistics on FAU's team stats in terms of hitting are a little bit deceiving because they don't put y'all. They put y'all at 7th in the 6th in the conference overall for hitting. You guys have a 253 batting average, which has improved nearly 30 points in the past couple of weeks. Because I remember not too long ago it was in the 220. So I'm looking to put a halt to the trend we're seeing. With hopefully we can put a stopper on you guys and we can kind of level the playing field out a little bit, because in terms of on paper statistics, it's kind of flip-flopped. We're top of the league in offense, y'all are top of the league in pitching and defense, so it's like it's going to create for a good show. But outside of that, I would say that I've noticed your 2 main starters are going to be CJ Williams and Tyler Murphy. Both of them have a sub-3 ERA and do a pretty good job of limiting free passes, especially Tyler with only 16 walks on the season. And CJ seems like a big swing and miss guy. So we're going to have our hands full with the bat in our hands, facing a very good staff out of FAU this weekend.
Yeah, for sure. Those are all the questions that I have for you, John. Is there anything else that you want to add before we wrap things up?
No, I think that's about it for me. I just hope that USF fans can pack the Red this weekend and we can have a good showing against a very good baseball team. And I really think that you're going to see a new USF baseball team as opposed to what we've been able to present the past couple of weeks. And I'm excited to see a good series. Good luck to you guys.
Yeah, definitely. I want to thank you, John, for coming on to the Inside the Burrow podcast. It's an absolute pleasure having you on to talk about FAU and USF for this upcoming series. It's going to be a very big series for both teams, especially with the conference, with the seeding battle at stake in the conference. So it's going to be a very fun series. But yeah, it was great talking to you, asking you about what's going on with USF and seeing what they have to do to stand their ground against FAU. But yeah, it was great having you on, John, and I really appreciate your time.
Thank you. I appreciate you having me on. Are you going to be able to make it out this weekend?
Oh, nah, I'll be doing other stuff, and it is the weekend of my birthday, so I have that to have fun with. So this upcoming weekend. But yeah, thank you in advance for the birthday wishes.
Sure. Yeah. No, I dedicate every USF win to your birthday, all right?
Yeah, and I dedicate every FU win to my birthday.
All right. All right. Enjoy your weekend, and thanks again for having me on.
Yep. Thanks, John. All right. See ya. All right. That will do it for this week's episode of the Inside the Burrow podcast. Hope you enjoyed the interview with John Kaplan from Brewing with McEwen. Please make sure to hit the like and subscribe button down below the video, and be sure to check out our written content over at FUOwlsNest.com, where you'll see amazing content from myself, from Rick, and among the other talented contributors to the site. Thank you for everyone. Stay safe. Have a great day. Go Owls.